show in just about 7 minutes time. Is anybody here excited to see dolphins? Excellent, me too. We've got a great show ahead, and you can learn a little bit about how you can help to learn more about these Pacific white-sided dolphins and help researchers learn more about them too. So stick around, we're going to get started in just about 7 minutes, but I came out here a little earlier just to give you a few tips before we get started with this show. And the younger of the two dolphins and the larger. Oh, Hannah and Helen have been at the Vancouver Aquarium since 2005. They have a pretty incredible story of survival. Well, they can't tell it themselves, but Paula, maybe you could tell us a little bit more about these dolphins.
I sure can, Stacey. Both of our dolphins are what are referred to as rescued and rehabilitated animals. They were both found entangled in fixed fishing nets off the coast of Japan. They were then taken to rehabilitation centers where they were deemed non-releasable, but luckily for us, they found permanent homes here at the Wild Coast. Working with me today is the Helen has been here since 2005. We have been able to build and maintain a strong relationship with her in order to provide her with the best possible care through training and regular checkups. Everything that we learned through her healthcare helps veterinarians and researchers to gain a better understanding of this mysterious species. In fact, every day that we work with them, we reveal more information not only about their species, but also their individual personalities, which, believe it or not, are just as different as you and I. But most importantly, Hannah and Helen teach us that we still have so much to learn about these cetaceans.
Thanks, Paula. As their name suggests, Pacific white-sided dolphins can be found in the Pacific Ocean. They can be found from northern Mexico all the way up to Alaska. I'm wondering, I'm curious, have any of you ever seen a Pacific white-sided dolphin out in the ocean before? A few very lucky visitors. If you ever do see any of the roughly 23 different species of cetaceans, which are whales, dolphins, and porpoises, that we can find off our coast, we want to hear about it. Vancouver Aquarium has a program called the BC Cetacean Sightings Network, which is a bit of a mouthful to say, but a very easy website to remember, wildwhales.org. So if you ever see dolphins out in the ocean, or any of their whales, dolphins, or porpoises, let us know at wildwhales.org that you did see them, because that way it adds to the information that our researchers have, and we can possibly even head out ourselves to get some photographs of them. Every sighting that we hear is important and helps us out to learn more about these animals. And it's because of people like you that we were able to help Levi last year. Levi was an adult male harbor porpoise who was found off the coast of Saanich, BC. He was found in distress and was brought to the Marine Mammal Rescue Center here at the Vancouver Aquarium, where he was rehabilitated and 5 months later was released back out into the ocean, marking the first successful release of the cetacean in our care out into the Pacific, and something that we are very proud of here at the Vancouver Aquarium. But maybe you're wondering, how do I even know if I'm looking at a harbor porpoise or a Pacific white-sided dolphin? Well, there are a few different identifying marks for these dolphins. The first is their color. Pacific white-sided dolphins have a type of camouflage called countershading. This means that they're lighter on the bottom and darker on the top, making it harder for predators and prey to spot them from different angles in the ocean. Another way that you can tell is by their size. Hannah and Helen here are the average size of a Pacific white-sided dolphin. That's about 2.3 meters, 7.5 feet. Pretty impressive. They are significant harbor porpoises, two of which you can see in the habitat next to us here. They are also significantly smaller than another resident favorite, the killer whale, which can be almost the same. This is it. They got the dolphins to stay still. It's a pretty big deal, and it's extremely difficult for a dolphin to do that. But once they were able to stay still like this, we could get them to come up into a metabolic dome that floated on the surface of the water, and we could measure their oxygen output. Finally, in 2012, we found out that it takes about 15,000 calories a day. That's about 68 salmon a day, or in human terms, 50 cheeseburgers. Well, that's just some of the research that they're participating in and helping out their counterparts in the right back into its research programs and learning more to reveal some more secrets about these marine animals. And here at the Vancouver Aquarium, we are a non-profit organization dedicated to the conservation of aquatic life. So every dollar that you spend here goes right back into these research and conservation programs. If you buy an ice cream, a souvenir, even your admission, all of that is going back in to help Hannah and Helen and other animals out in the ocean to learn more. So on behalf of myself, Phil, Paula, and the dolphins, we'd like to thank you very much for coming to the Vancouver Aquarium today and to the Dolphin Show. Thanks for coming and have a great time. Very impressive indeed. Thank you so much for coming to the 2:15 Dolphin Show today and learning a little bit more about how you can help this research. More of those secrets of marine animals, which is vital to their continued survival. And if you have any questions about anything you saw or about anything here, feel free to come over and chat with me. We'll be over at the gate after the program. Once again, my name is Stacey. This is Helen, who we just saw here. Thanks very much for coming to the Vancouver Aquarium. Have a great afternoon. The next show is at 3:30 for the Dolphin Show if you're looking to catch this one again. Or at 3:30 is the next Beluga show as well. Thanks very much. Have a great afternoon.
Rapidly changing world, belugas here are playing an important role in connecting all of us to issues like climate change, and we're so glad that you have joined us today to find out more about that. I would love to introduce the trainers and the belugas to you. We have trainers Indy and Kevin joining us today. Let's give them a big welcoming round of applause. And of course, we are also joined by two beautiful belugas. They're switching spots right now. Working over here to my right is going to be Aurora. There she is. She has been at the aquarium for about 24 years, and in 1995, she became the very first beluga to conceive and give birth in a Canadian aquarium. That Canadian aquarium was the one you are currently visiting, the Vancouver Aquarium, and guess what? Her daughter Keela is the other whale that's joining us today. It is going to be Keela's 19th birthday tomorrow. So let's also give the belugas a big round of applause. Belugas here at the Vancouver Aquarium are helping to conserve their species through research, and we need your help to ensure that studies here and out in the ocean continue. Speaking of out in the ocean, who can tell me exactly where the algae grows? And yes, the sea ice is acting like soil in the Arctic because that's where the algae grows, so it forms the basis of the food chain. And that sea ice algae is eaten by many different creatures, including fish, crustaceans, and invertebrates. You might be surprised to find out that there are so many different animals living in the Arctic, but this is one of the things that research has shown us, that the amount of life or biodiversity there is staggering. If we've already been doing research in the Arctic, is there anything else to learn about it? Well, to put that into perspective a little bit. Let's give the belugas a big round of applause for those vocalizations. Those kinds of sounds are used by belugas out in the ocean to communicate with one another. I hope you were listening closely to them because I would love to hear your rendition of a beluga vocalization. Pick your favorites, and on the count of three, as loud as you can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, not too shabby. Sounds like that we're part of a research study that took place here at the Vancouver Aquarium over a period of 10 years. And this research showed us that beluga mothers and their calves develop unique contact calls for one another that they use for the duration of their lives. This research would not have been possible out in the ocean, but here at the aquarium we had an intimate look at the interactions between mothers and calves, and we were able to find this out. Since then, we've been able to observe these kinds of sounds in places like Churchill, Manitoba, and also in the St. Lawrence River. And right now, we have a researcher in the Arctic who is up there listening for these kinds of sounds in pristine ocean habitats to find out more about how people may impact belugas with the noisy things that we do there. How exactly do belugas make such a variety of sounds? Well, if you look at their foreheads, you'll notice that they move. And what is moving is called the beluga's melon. It is a fatty substance surrounded by muscle, and the belugas can manipulate that melon to control the way that different sounds exit their bodies, and they use these sounds for communication, as we already heard, and also for echolocation, clicks and whistles that they send into their environment to navigate underwater. What is important about any beluga adaptation, whether it is their size, their color, or their ability to move their melon, all of these suit belugas to their natural environment, and as we have seen today, this environment is changing very quickly. And now, the Vancouver Aquarium is uniquely poised to do research with these Arctic whales so that we are able to better protect them in their natural environment. We wouldn't be able to do the kind of work that we do here with belugas without the very strong relationship that the trainers develop with them. And to share with us more about that, we're going to pass things over to Kevin.
Thanks, Maddie. I'm over here giving you a wave so you can see where my voice is coming from. Thanks for waving back. I've been lucky enough to be working with Keela here for about 6 months now, and I'm building a very strong relationship with her. Of course, our number one priority whenever we're working with the beluga whales is always their health care. With our strong and trusting relationships, we are able to provide them with the best possible care through voluntary medical behaviors which are known as animal husbandry. For example, I'm going to ask Keela here to present to me her ventral side or her belly. From a body layout like this, I can check over her whole body for any cuts or scrapes, anything that looks abnormal that we might need our veterinary staff to take a look at. We can also take this a step further and do some more advanced animal husbandry, like taking voluntary ultrasounds or even blood samples. Make sure that Keela and Aurora are just as healthy on the inside as they are on the outside. And we're only able to provide this best possible care for them with our strong and trusting relationships. And that's also what allows us to participate in those meaningful research projects that Maddie was just touching on a second ago. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about one such study, which is known as the chuff study. So a chuff is basically a forceful exhale out the blowhole. It sounds like this, just like that. All right, and we're using we can collect a sample of the mucus in the blowhole from that chuff, and then on the same day we would also perform an ultrasound or take a blood sample so that the researchers can pair the two different types of samples. And using this data, they can hopefully are going to find relationships between the samples, and then they would be able to use a chuff to collect things like maybe even a DNA sample or detect hormone levels just from a chuff sample. The perfect thing about that is that although we can do ultrasounds and take blood samples with trained beluga whales like Keela and Aurora, we can't do that with belugas out in the ocean, but they can collect a chuff sample. So that's just one way that Keela and Aurora are helping to protect their counterparts out in the ocean. Back to you, Maddie.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Let's give Kevin and Keela a big round of applause for sharing that with us. What is important about all living things around the world, whether we live in the US or in Europe or here in Canada, of the belugas, Aurora and Keela, their trainers Kevin and Indy, and myself, Madeline. Thanks so much for coming, and have a great rest of your day here at the aquarium.
we have your cameras on this